Hello, everybody. My name is Matty. I am the host of this here channel, Comics. I have 25 books here in a CGC sealed box. We're going to open it up. Got maybe 8 of them for customers, clients of mine, friends of mine, and maybe 17 of them for myself. Let's get started. Woo! All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in, either watching live or on the replay. Again, my name is Matt, and we're going to look at some slabbed comic books. This was not a pre-screen submission. This was a straight-up whatever comes submission. Pretty happy with most of it. I already know the grades. The people who I submitted for, some of my customers and friends, do not know the grades as far as I know. So if they tune in, they might get a little surprise, which could be fun. Of course, we always have the roll of the dice, which is CGC quality control. So we'll see how we do on that front. But yeah, I tend to have technical issues streaming live using StreamYard. So please let me know if you are in the chat, whether it looks and sounds okay, because I have these weird like laggy issues. Last couple weeks ago, I pre-recorded a video for YouTube, hoping to avoid these technical issues. And I ended up sounding like I was in witness protection or like the serial killer Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. It wasn't really what I was going for. But, you know, maybe that's a thing. At any rate, let's get this box open and talk about these books. I will also, by the way, have preliminary pricing on some of the books. You know, basically I sort of did a rough tally of sort of the value that I had coming back to me in terms of the inventory I had to look forward to. So it's kind of like fast and dirty pricing. Some of it might be a really good deal if you picked it up at that price. Some of it might be a little bit on the high end if you picked it up at that price, which is to say it's not like if I were like pricing this stuff for a claim sale, I would probably do a full additional round of pricing to sort of be like, here's what's currently available on eBay. I'm going to try to beat that price and go $10 under, or whatever the case. These are sort of like round numbers, like ballpark estimates for value. That being said, if you like any of these books and you like any of these prices, you can go ahead and claim them or hit me up in the DMs because I am trying to move books. I'm going to be out of town coming up later this month. Got a lot of different stuff going on, so I am not shy to sell some books right out the gate. In other words, if you hear me quote a price, you have at least like 24, 48 hours to have me honor that price if you're interested in any of these books. That being said, the books for my customers, clients, friends, and so forth obviously are not for sale. I'm not going to be putting values on those books unless those people want to sell those books. All right, so let's get into it. I don't think we have many people watching live because I didn't preview this or anything. First book I have up is my own book. It is a Doorway into Nightmare #1. I think I was expecting something like a 9496 on this, and I got a 94 white page. That is the first appearance of Madame Xanadu. This is a really tough book in high grade, so whenever I see a copy that is sort of within a ballpark of 9.4 or better in this book, I am inclined to grade it. And I think that was a fair grade for this. Of course, I was hoping for 9.6 or maybe a long shot 9.8, but 9.4 is reasonable. And the value I have on that book is, let's see how well I did with this, $100. $100 for Doorway #1, 9.4. All right, one down, 24 to go. What do we got here? Okay, this is a first appearance of Thunderbolts, Hulk 449. This one, I think I was going for a 9.6 or 9.8 on this. More likely 9.6, and that's what I got. 9.6 white pager, first Thunderbolts. Slab looks good. And value I have on this right now, it's definitely down from what it has been, as with a lot of books in the market. 150. 150 for first Thunderbolts in 9.6. All right. What else we got? Okay, this is pretty exciting. All-Star Comics, number 58, first appearance of Power Girl. Surprisingly, this still goes in a modern submission because it's from 1976, which is essentially exactly the cutoff. Trippy! No way, Tripp's on his way to Davy's house. That's awesome. Trippy's ready to root doo doo. We don't have any root doo doos yet. If you guys don't know, if you're new to either my or West Coast Avengers channel, root doo doo is what you say when you get a 9.8. So no 9.8s yet today, Trippy, but hopefully we can do that for you, especially because Tripp has how many books with me? I believe I have 2 of your books in this submission, Tripp. So hopefully we can root doo doo for you, my friend. Thanks for tuning in. I think you are the sole viewer right now. How are the technical specs, Tripp? I'm counting on you for quality control right now. Does the video and audio look acceptable? Let me know. All right, All-Star Comics, number 58, first appearance of Power Girl and her famous boob window. This book, I believe I got raw from Hauser, a buddy of mine on Instagram. Shout out to Hauser, who is actually in recovery from a car accident right now. Thank God he's okay. But love you, buddy. Hope you are resting and recovering well. I believe I got this book from him, and it really turned out exactly how I wanted it to, which was a 9.2 white page. It did have this ink overspray on the top edge over here, and this little sliver of paper missing on the bottom edge there. So far, so good. All right, Gazer Gaze in the house. What's going on, Gazer? So far, so good with the audio and video. That's great to hear. So it had this little chunk of paper out, but man, was it minty other than that. So I felt like it was worth a shot. And this is one of those kinds of defects where it's like you could see a greater, I don't know, passing it completely or knocking it down 2 grades. Like, it's really hard to quantify this particular kind of defect. But I think I basically predicted it correctly. I thought I was going to get like in a 9.0, 9.4 range because it's otherwise so clean. And that's where we got 9.2 white page. Value I have on this one is, what is it? $350. $350 on the first Power Girl and a 9.2. All right. What else we got? Gazer says, oh, One Up is there. What up, One Up? Good to see ya. Gazer says, love that book. Modern classics still obtainable. I believe that book will skyrocket eventually. I think it's very undervalued. And I agree. I do think it has seen recent gains because of the sort of like all the Power Girl variants and stuff. People have been sort of sleeping on it up until now. So in the short term, I feel like it's already reached some gains, but I agree in the long term, it's still undervalued. Okay, this was a raw book that I kind of picked up a little bit of a spec purchase. Just a rare Rhino cover, Deadpool 66 from 2002. I picked up like 3 copies of this, kind of like on the announcement of Rhino coming in Craven, the Hunter movie. And this was like my best copy. I was hoping for a 9.8, got a 9.6. Still a cool book. What do I have on this one? Should have alphabetized these. Deadpool. I have $50 on this. Someone wants to get it for $50. Essentially at cost for me. I'm not doing like a full quality control sweep for these right now, but I'll have to do that another time. If something really sticks out to me, like the case is completely cracked, then we'll know that. Gazer says trailer leaked today. Oh, Craven trailer leaked today. Nice. Probably get a little better than 50 for that. All right, here is the ASM 23 Pastorvicchio sketch 1 in 100 variant. This one belongs not to me. I sold it to my buddy. Yeah, just checking. It was Iz. So Ramlu, this is your book, buddy. I don't know if you're in the room right now, but your Pastorvicchio sketch cover got a 9.8. For Iz. Not my book, but congratulations, Iz. Put that in a separate pile for other people's books. Press that bad boy for Iz. Congratulations for that, brother. All right, Turtles #1, 4th printing. This is my own book. I was hoping for 9698, and I got a 96. Not too bad, but you do see a big gain when you get to 98 in this book, so slightly disappointing there, but it's okay. I now have 2 copies of this in 9.6 actually, and this is only $250 in this grade. Of course, if someone doesn't snipe this off me, then some of these books that this one I probably won't regrade. But some of the books that I don't achieve my desired grade in, I might consider a crack and resubmit. Let's see what we got here. Okay, speaking of Power Girl, got that Virgin variant on the Will Jack Action Comics 1053, and this one got a 9.8. Beautiful cover, a little bit more rare than the trade dress. I believe it's like 800 copies or 1,000 copies. That's just killer. I mean, I'm not like a huge Power Girl aficionado, but I would say that's my favorite cover that I've seen of hers. Of that character, rather. That one, what did I price that at? Action 1053, only $150. Is that right? Wow. Okay, 150 on that. Thanos 13, first appearance of Cosmic Ghost Rider. I got this in a lot off of a guy on Facebook. And, obviously he wasn't really into grading because this was a 9.8 candidate and we got a 9.8. This book is down from what it's been historically. Still a cool Donny Cates first appearance issue. Thanos 13, $250 on that one. That's the cover A. All right. I don't usually dabble in Star Wars keys, but we have here a KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, #9, first appearance of Revan. And I just picked this up off the wall of my LCS, hoping that it might get a 9.6, 9.8. We got a 9.6, which is pretty great. This is a pretty low print key issue. I've got $300 on this. That one I really, after I pressed it, I wasn't really hoping for 9.8 on that. It had too much spine wear. So 9.6, I am very pleased with for that book. All right. Okay, this one is a little bit of a disappointment. Turtle Mania Special #1. I got this in an eBay lot along with the Peach Momoko Turtles 100, the Japanese poster variant. I graded the Japanese poster variant, got a 9.8 in that. This one came graded 8.5 white pages, and I attempted a CPR on this, not noticing until it was out of the holder. I hate it when I make this mistake not so infrequently. I crack something out of a case and then notice a defect after taking it out of the case. Granted, I'll let myself off the hook a little bit. If CGC were better with their graders notes, this wouldn't be such a problem, because now that I got it regraded, the same grade 8.5 white, now the graders notes reflect staple rust, right? There's staple rust on this book that's really hard to see through the holder. I mean, I can see it pretty clearly. So it's on me that I didn't look more closely at the staples before I cracked it out, but I did check the grader's notes and it did not mention rust when I checked it. So it's a little bit on me, a little bit on CGC there. but at least, I pressed it and I improved the presentation of this book, but it still stayed the same grade. At least I didn't lose a grade. This is still a very rare collectible Turtles book, and it is $400 rough value on that. It's just one of those books where, every single grade point is a pretty big leap in terms of value. So if I'd even bumped it half a grade to a 9, it would have been significant. Oh well. At least I didn't lose one. I didn't lose too much time or money working on that one. All right, this one is another CPR attempt. This is ASM 194, First Black Cat, and I am kind of embarrassed to say how long I've had this book. I feel like I have graded this book 3 times, potentially. And this is just like one of those things you live and learn. Like, in retrospect, I actually did try to sell this book when it was much hotter for $500, and I made a sale with someone locally, and he had to back out of it. So I almost got $500 raw for this book. Now it's an 8.0 white pages, and it's valued at $350. So I went through all this trouble, like pressing and grading this thing like 3 different times, just to have it be worth $350 and losing half a grade. And the issue with this is, like, again, one of those defects that's a little bit hard to quantify. It's like color loss on the edge right there. You can see how it kind of looks yellow along the right edge there. That's just something that it's just going to stay out of high grade. Basically, in retrospect, it feels obvious that this was never going to make it into the 9s, but that's with the benefit of hindsight. I sort of felt like I can make it better. I was sort of focusing on the spine over here, like these tiny little micro ticks, feeling like I can make that spine better. But if you're up against kind of like almost like looks like a thumbprint, it's probably like a thumbprint over here, or like a palm print that just took some color off. You see that on books in this era a lot, like well, a little bit early, significantly earlier for Punisher, but like Punisher 129, like that yellow ink often smudges right off. 194 here, the black smudges off. So yeah, in retrospect, I should have just sold it when it was well, initially with CGC 8.5, then I made it a CBCS 8.5, and then I cracked it out, and now it's a CGC 8.0. With the CBCS, lack of premium, maybe it's better as a CGC 8.0 than a CBCS 8.5. I do believe I improved the page quality in this last grade. I did actually go for I gave the blue light treatment to all the interior pages on this, so at least it's an 8.0 white pager. At any rate, this is valued at $350. All right, next up I have a series of 4 copies of Ghost Rider 1 newsstand. All right, little bit of story time here, guys, for the 5 people watching and people watching on replay. So maybe a year and a half ago, I picked up a lot of, I want to say about 30 copies of this on eBay from a seller who obviously found them in a warehouse. Okay, and they were selling them for $24 a piece. And I basically just bought as many as I felt I could afford at that time, which is around 30 copies. So big investment in this book. I have graded a little by little over time. I've sold some raw. They all had this sort of like corner issue, top and bottom. And based on the results, we got a 9.8 here. Based on the results, those corner issues are accepted in this book, especially when there are no other flaws. So that's really been a godsend for me, is that I've had really good track record with this book, grading it in 9.6 and 9.8. The last submission I did, 25 pre-screen, I got 2 pre-screens ago, I got my 2 copies I submitted, both got 9.8s. This submission, I got 2 9.8s and 2 9.6s. I believe this is the last of the copies from this batch that I'm going to grade. I've run through all of the whoops, that's a Dr. Aphra. Wanted to show you the rest of the Ghost Riders. Ghost Rider Here they are. Now, the reason there's more of a story to this is that some of you guys know I had an altercation with a former employee, Jared William of Elsewhere Retro, who he basically stole a shitload of books from me. One of the things he liked to steal from me was copies of Ghost Rider #1, because he knew I had multiples. He knew the story behind them about the warehouse find and so forth. He kept saying, the guy that I worked for at the comic shop, he found these in a warehouse. No, I bought them on eBay from a guy who found them in a warehouse. So he basically was just using my story of like warehouse find, I get 9/8 in this, to basically just make his own money off the books. And sadly, he took like some of my remaining best copies. So like when you think about this book is only worth maybe $50 raw, right? But like $400 in a 9/8. I have these in well, yeah, $450 9/8 is the current value that I can, as far as I can surmise. I've sold 2 copies for I think $390 in the past. I'm gonna ask $450 for these. But then I have 9/6 copies for $250 each. No, sorry, only $125. It goes for in 9/6. There's 1 and there's 2. $125 a piece. $450 for the 9/8. All that to say that like the fact that he just kind of took those books thinking, oh, he's got a bunch of these, and hyping them up as 9/8 candidates. It's like, yes, I was only into those books for 24 a piece, but like part of the whole speculation, the whole investment of that lot of books was my potential to make 9/8 out of them. And he took away like 4 more chances for me to make 9/8. Thanks, Andrew. The situation is still in progress. Whatnot just got the subpoena from the detective assigned to the case to supply more evidence in terms of all of their sales history and videos. So they're complying with that, which is great, because I was only able to really prove what was taken in the last weekend of sales or so, because I was able to confiscate the books that he tried to sell once I became wise to the whole operation, which was about $800 worth of books. But like he'd been selling my books for a month before that, just like, almost like a live sale every night on Whatnot, coming into work at my shop, taking home like a bag full of books, 100 books at a time, and selling them on Whatnot, bringing them back in the morning and shipping them out from my shop. That was his whole operation. It's pretty stunning, the balls on this guy to be doing that for 4 weeks before I figured out what was happening. Oh well, that's still in progress, and I don't think I'm ever going to see any money back from it, but at least I was able to recover the books that he sold in the final weekend of sales, which, like I said, was about $800 worth of inventory. It was like an Ultimate Comics Spider-Man #1. It was a Silver Age, Justice League #29. Like lots of great books that I was able to recover from his last weekend of sales. But I don't think, as the detective on the case told me, you can't get blood from a stone. This guy doesn't have means to really pay me back. So I really feel like, if anything, justice will be served and he'll maybe do some jail time or something, but he's not gonna get any money back from the guy because he doesn't have any to give. That's just how this thing tends to go, I think. And if I took him to small claims court, I would just be out lawyer fees. And again, I don't know if he'd ever have that money to pay me back. So, all right, here is another book for IZZ ROM. This is Incentive on Warlock Rebirth 1 in 25 Jim Chung variant. I believe it belongs to Iz, and Iz got a 9/8 on that, so that's 2 for 2 for Iz on this submission. For Iz. Congratulations, Iz. Here's a Dr. Aphra. This one, I believe I cracked it out of a 9/6 to go for a 9/8, and I think we ended up staying with a 9/6. So that one right now I have valued at $100. All right, this one is, I believe this goes to Scotty the Body. Jedi versus Sith. Is it a newsstand edition? I believe it is a newsstand edition, but they didn't note it on the label. I think we got a newsstand here, right, Scotty? Is he in the house? Oh, I don't know if he's here. 6 people watching in the room. Thanks for joining, guys. This is the first appearance of Darth Bane from 2001. Damn, this looks like a clean copy. It's got a spine ticker too. A little bit of color up. No, I think this is a fair grade here. There's sort of a mini crunch on this corner down here with a tick on the front and a tick on the back. So we got a 9.6. I think that's a pretty good outcome for that one. I believe it belongs to Scotty the Body. Body Massage McKean, AKA. All right. Here we have an X23 Regenesis #1, a Mike Choi variant, I believe. It's a 1 in 50. I sold this to Rob. Robness, I believe is his IG handle. Sold this to Rob as a 9.8 candidate. It did have some pressable defects. He got a 9.8. Congratulations, Rob. Got a good track record for my customers so far on the submissions. That's really nice. Here's another one for a customer, Trippy Trip. If you're in the house, we've got this regular variant, Alex Ross Thanos variant. We got a 9.8 for you too, my friend. Congrats on that, Trippy. What else? I feel like Trip thought he was submitting pre-screen, but we didn't have no safety net on this Trip. And I sold this copy to him raw. This is the first cover appearance of Immortal Hulk, sort of a minor Immortal Hulk key, but a really cool book. We got a 9.8 on that too, Trippy. So you're 2 for 2 on this submission. Scotty the Body's in the house. Scotty, how's it going, man? Was I right about the Jedi Sith? Did you see that book get unboxed? I think that must be yours. Temp is asking, that's One Up Collector, I believe. How's it going, man? How much to submit books? Basically, I don't really provide it as a service outside of what I sell to people on my live sales because I don't have a lot of bandwidth to do a lot of pressing for folks other than books that, you know, basically like if you buy like a ratio variant from me or a book in my live sale where you ask if I can press it for you, that's more so that when I'm able to provide that service because it's not that high volume and I can sort of sneak it in with my submissions, sort of like these that you see here. So I'll charge $10 for a quick press, $15 if it's an older book, needs like a clean or something like that, or some humidity, and $5 to facilitate the submission. And then other than that, it's grading fees. So the grading fees are roughly $25 per book. And that's on the CGC end, but you can pay me for that as well. So all in, if the book needs a press, you're looking at $40 a book, but I'm not going to charge you $5 every book. I'll charge you $5 for the batch of books. That makes sense. Anyway, here's your book, Scotty. We already unboxed it. It's the Jedi versus Sith. We got a 9.6 on that for you, buddy. Not too shabby. Of course, my friend, no problem. No problem at all. We've got 4 more books to look at. See what we got. Here is a Silk 2 Rose Besh 1 in 25. This belongs to Rudy. Handle Snake Eyes on Instagram. For some reason, it's hard for me to tag Rudy, so I didn't get him. He probably doesn't know we're unboxing this right now, but we got a 9.8 for him. A Rudy 2. All right. Here is a John Jiang 1 in 50, I believe it was, for Marvel Voices Spider-Verse #1. This is a pretty big book because it's a great Spider-Punk cover, Spider-Gwen, Miles cover. John Jiang covers are pretty hot right now. And this is going to Rob Knox S. Rob Knox. I'm a little confused with this grade, Rob. We got a 9.6. I was not expecting that. So I was hoping to get this back in hand and see what went wrong. I really think this was a harsh grade. I think I see like one tick that, with square bound issues, I did press this book twice actually, because I really wanted to resolve the issues for you on this to get the 9.8. Although with square bound issues, you cannot use very high temperatures, otherwise you might melt the glue, and you can't use very high pressure, otherwise you might crush the spine. So that's why I did it twice. You can see this one spine tick right here. In the right light, you can see one slight spine tick, and on the back, you can see one slight finger bend right there. It's hard to see with the glare. There's a slight finger bend on the back. So that's what they're seeing, I'm sure. I just think 9.6 is really unnecessarily harsh for like a minty square bound issue. So we'll talk about it, Rob. If you see this video, we'll talk. And if you want to resub, I'm happy to do it for you. Just be another submission fee, obviously. But I would just submit it without even pressing it again to see what happens. Because I'm sure the premium jump from 9.6 to 9.8 in that book is crazy. I haven't looked at values for that personally, but let's save this one for last. That's a big book of mine for last. All right, second to last, we have George R.R. Martin's first Game of Thrones comic from 2011, Dynamite Comics. So first appearance of Game of Thrones in comics to my knowledge. And this is my book. We got a 9.8 in that one, which is pretty cool. I think I got this in a collection. Like this one has a spine tick just like that one on Marvel Voices that, doesn't really break color, and this one got a 9.8. So I think it's one of those things that's a coin toss. You're gonna get a grader saying 9.8 half the time and 9.6 the other half the time. I would guess 9.8 2/3 of the time and 9.6 1/3 of the time. We just didn't get lucky with that one. What do I have on this one? I'm putting rough values on these bad boys. The Game of Thrones first appearance, I have a 250. And finally, guys, last but certainly not least, ASM 238 First Hobgoblin Direct Edition. Has tattoos, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't have that blue label. And on this book, which I got from my buddy Mikey, staples and paper, as part of one of his mystery boxes, which he only does for two friends, me and my friend Jonathan. He puts together mystery boxes for us. They're kind of facetious mystery boxes. They're just basically like Mikey offloading a bunch of his books and giving us a really good deal for them. And we just don't get to know what he's giving us. But it's not like any old mystery box. It's like, here's some awesome books for a crazy deal. Essentially, that's what Mike does for me and Jonathan when he can. So this came in one of Mikey's boxes. Mikey's not a grader. He grades books, like his own books, but he's not a believer in grading. He has a fully raw collection. He's converted his whole collection to raw. He doesn't like the arbitrariness of CGC, etc., let alone CBCS. But I don't think, Mikey, that you thought that this grade was possible for this copy when you put it in your mystery box. And we got, after I put a lot of work into it, to be honest, a 9.4 white pages. I feel like the raw condition that he gave this to me in, you would have guessed like a VF or a VF plus. I worked on this a lot. I did a lot of humidity treatment. I did multiple presses, cleaned the back. So I'm very gratified with this grade on this. I think the work on that was worth it. Nice near mint grade for a nice copper age key from 1983 classic cover. And the value I have on this is $600. So that wraps it up, guys. That's 25 books. Again, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books for my buddies that bought books from me, and 17 books for myself. Pretty pleased with the grades. There were a couple of those, CPR candidates that didn't work out the way I wanted them to. The ASM 194 I lost half a grade on, and the Turtle Mania I stayed at an 8.5. Other than that, and the Darth Vader I stayed at a 9.6. So kind of 0 for 3 on my CPR for this batch. However, some of the raw books that I got raw, I am pleased with, like that 238 getting a 9.4. I was super psyched about. So that wraps it up, guys. Again, Rob, if you're watching this, just hit me up. I kind of want to work on a resubmission for you for that 9.6. Otherwise, for my customers, I feel pretty happy with the books that I sold them. We got a 9.8 on the Silk for Snake. Got a 9.6 for Scotty on the Jedi Sith, and I don't think, looking at that copy, like 9.8 was very likely. I think we talked about that, Scotty. Hopefully, this I sold raw. I remember selling this to Trip and being like, "God damned if this doesn't get a 9.8," and I should have been maybe charging a little more, but I'm glad he got a good deal on that. Nice new book for Trippy there. The Thanos got a 9.8. This one I'm very relieved got a 9.8 because without a press, it looked a little bit rough. It was kind of like a near mint 9.4, but everything that I was seeing on this book looked pressable. So I feel happy that I was able to deliver that for Robness. And then got a couple books back. Again, the Chung I sold. I basically advertised as a 9.8 candidate, and the Pastor Vicchio I advertised as a 9.8 candidate. So it's one of the things I really take pride in as a seller is accurate grading, and especially when it comes to selling new books. A lot of people sell new books. I've sort of fallen into it as kind of a focus, for better or worse. It takes up a lot of time, a lot of energy, but one of the things I can provide as value to my customers, hopefully, is solid assessment of grading potential, if people are into that. And in general, just a high threshold of quality. I like to say, if you buy new books from me, it's kind of like you are getting the copy that you would get for yourself off of the rack. You know what I mean? It's not like you're going to get a random quality book. Like if you get a stack of new books, 20 new books of an issue, new copies of an issue, maybe 5 of them are going to be beat to shit just from how bad shipping is with Diamond. 10 of them will be average grade, like with a couple bends, ticks here and there, and 5 of them will be the best of that batch. I try every week to bring you the best of what's available from my LCS, which is Time Capsule in Cranston. So that's just part of my process, is I sort of condition swap every week, which, with the blessing of Rob at Time Capsule, I get my pull list, my subs, which is often a short box or a long box full of comics, and I condition swap for every single copy to the best of my ability. I get there as early as I can on Thursday so that all the best copies are still available on the rack, and I can condition swap as best I can. So it takes a lot of time. I use high quality bags and boards, and for those ratios, I like to give accurate assessments of 9.8 potential. So those are some things you can look forward to, hopefully, if you choose to buy comics from me in the future, over on Instagram at mmcomicsales. And that's going to wrap it up for this video. Scotty the Body says, we were hoping, but we knew it was a long shot. 9.6 newsstand is still pretty hard to find. Perfect. And that is another thing I wanted to confirm with you, Scotty, was that it was a newsstand, because CGC did not put newsstand edition on the label. But let's look at it one more time. I think it's down here. Where is it? Where is it? Let's look at it one more time. Let's just confirm, everybody. Scotty, confirm with me they didn't swap out our copy for a direct or something, because I remember we were doing newsstand. Star Wars Adventures. I believe direct edition would be on it if it was not a newsstand. However, the label does not say newsstand as CGC is supposed to do. Right? So technically, if this was important to you, Scotty, we could resubmit this, or rather, do a mechanical error reholder if it's important to you to have newsstand on the label. They do owe that to us per their own updated policy. Yeah, it's a newsstand. So hit me up, Scotty, if that's important to you. You need to resubmit it within a 2-week window for reholders to not get charged for it. For them to do it on their dime, you need to do it within 2 weeks. So just let me know if that's important to you, and I can get that done. I do think that so far, without looking with a fine-tooth comb, the quality control on this batch looks to be pretty good, other than the newsstand issue for Scotty. So yeah, Scotty, we can take care of that for you. And then I'll do one more pass through all these to make sure we didn't get any tiny little cracks, any other typos rather on the labels themselves. We will go through it. I'll let you know, I don't know, maybe in the comments of this video if I find any other quality control issues. But that is annoying how they advertise that they're doing that whole newsstand thing on the label, but so many times they just fail to make that adjustment, basically, on a significant newsstand issue. Like Dark Horse early 2000s newsstand is a very significant newsstand to notate, right? So I think that there's often a disconnect between the person grading it and making the notes on it and the person making the labels and actually holding the book. I noticed that with certain custom labels, like for example, Davey, West Coast Dave, I submitted a Todd McFarlane book, a Mark Jeweler ASM 301 for him, and they kept failing 2 times now. They failed to put Mark Jeweler insert variant on the label. I think it's even more important with a Mark Jeweler, obviously, than it is for a newsstand, because you can't see the Mark Jeweler insert. You can at least see the newsstand barcode, right? But you can't see anyway. So I've had to do 2 reholders for him, and they're still stalling, dragging their heels on that. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Hopefully the technical issues, I think maybe I updated my OS software, and hopefully that's going to be better for the future for StreamYard for me. I keep having laggy, weird technical issues, but looks like we had a good stream, so I'm happy we got through it in one piece, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I should be having a live sale this week. However, just a heads up, I might be getting a film job as an assistant director starting on Friday. If that's the case, I might have to postpone my next sale and do something like static claim posts instead. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, I will do my regularly scheduled auction this Thursday night on Instagram at mmcomicsale. So give me a follow over there. Look out for any updates, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.